We hear it over and over again. The only constant in life is change. Why then is it so hard to navigate change? Why is it so hard to change ourselves, to create better habits, and to do the things that we know are good for us? And why is it even harder to respond to external changes, to things that we haven't decided on or control over? In today's video, I want to help you understand why it is so hard to navigate change. I want to help you understand what is happening in your brain when you are experiencing change. And I want to help you develop a more powerful mindset in order to be more resilient when you are experiencing changes. So let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt, and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And today we're talking about a super fascinating topic, which is why is it so hard to navigate change? This is a topic that I have been teaching a lot over the last couple of months, as you can imagine, because of COVID-19 and because a lot of people have been experiencing a lot of different changes in their lives. And let's be honest, when we are experiencing changes in our lives, it's sometimes super hard. And there's a reason for that. And that is the first thing that I want to talk with you about today in this video. I want to tell you a little bit more about what is happening in your brain when you are experiencing changes. Because your brain is really smart and it is obviously connected to your body. So every time you are experiencing change, you're not only going to experience it in your head, you're going to experience it in your body as well. So it's a full human experience. And why is that? Because you react both mentally and physically to change. Why is that? Well, every time something is happening out of the ordinary, something that is new to your system, your brain is going to start to pay attention because from an obviously evolutionary perspective, your brain always tries to keep you safe. So every time something is changing in your environment, your nervous system is actually going to send a signal that something is changing. And when this is happening, we are actually activating the so-called sympathetic nervous system, which is also known as the fight or flight system, so your stress response. And your body is going to release different types of stress hormones in order to make sure that you're paying attention to the change that is happening. Does it make sense? Yes, of course it makes sense. Because remember, your brain tries to keep you safe at all times. And when change is happening, it feels like it's not safe anymore, so stress is being released. So from a neuroscientific perspective, your brain feels like it's moving into a super unsafe space, and you need to be extra cautious and you need to be extra careful to pay attention to the change. And that change, these different types of stress hormones that are being released in your body are obviously feeling uncomfortable because we're having elevated stress levels and it is not easy to navigate that. And you need to understand, of course, from your brain's perspective as well, it doesn't actually really know what is good for you and what is bad for you. Your brain only knows the current state. Your brain only knows what you have been repeatedly doing over and over and over again, from a thought perspective, but obviously also from an action perspective. And that explains why it is so hard to navigate change, because every time that you are experiencing changes, your nervous system is actually alerting you, telling you, oh my God, something is changing, something is going on. I don't really know if this is good or bad for me, but I'm just going to let you know anyway, because you should probably pay attention. And that is very simply said, the reason why it is so hard to navigate change. So no matter if you want to create a new habit and you would like to, for example, go to the gym more regularly, or you would like to eat more healthy, then at the beginning, it is sometimes very hard to make these changes. Why? Because it is something different to what you have been doing before, and your brain alerts you that, hey, what are you doing there? This is not something that we know. We don't know exercise. We don't know all these healthy veggie foods. And so you should better pay attention. And then we're using this excuse, we're using these feelings that are coming up for us as an excuse to not do these things, right? So our brain is super, super smart. And sometimes we have to really push through in order to navigate those changes. And I just gave you a really simple example, obviously, for creating better habits, but it could be anything in your life. So even if something externally is changing for you, you will experience that. So if, for example, you had to just stay at home and work from home for the last couple of months, that was probably really difficult because it was something new that you weren't used to. If your personal circumstances change and you just experienced, for example, a breakup, then that is a huge change as well, right? Because every time, again, when something out of the ordinary has happened that you have been used to for a couple of different years, for example, then your brain is in total alert state and is trying to tell you, oh my God, you need to pay attention to this because something is going on that I have no idea what it is. So it really helps to build this awareness around how your brain is reacting to any kind of change and to sit with it and to be okay with that feeling. I even sometimes talk to my brain and tell my brain, especially when I'm, for example, trying to create a better habit, that it is absolutely okay that it feels the way it feels because I am not used to that. I am creating something new, and that change is a process. So that is the first thing that you should probably remember if you are trying to navigate change. So now the question is, of course, what can you do when you are experiencing a lot of changes, when you have to navigate a lot of different changes in your life? And the very first answer is parasympathetic nervous system. What does that mean? The parasympathetic nervous system is the counterpart to the sympathetic nervous system, and it basically helps you to relax all of the different systems that beforehand were in alert state. So the sympathetic nervous system is the flight or fight response, and the parasympathetic nervous system is the growth and repair or the digest and rest system. That is very, very important to activate in order to help you see things more clearly. Because here's another thing. When you are in the stress state and you are feeling all these different pressures and all these thoughts and all these body feelings, then it is so much harder to have a clear head and to understand and decide what you need to do. Which is why it is always very wise to take a step back and to recognize when something is changing and to ask yourself, okay, first of all, I need to take a break here and I need to take a step back in order to fully understand what is going on. So to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, you need to practice self-care. I'm talking about self-care in my videos all the freaking time because self-care is super, super important, and we have not really learned that we have to take care of ourselves on a regular basis. And when I'm talking about a regular basis, I am not talking about taking a vacation once a year. I am talking about every single day, because the parasympathetic nervous system helps you to restore your energy levels and helps you to feel better. And that is why you need to practice self-care. There are 2 different videos on my YouTube channel, so make sure to check this one and make sure to check that one. The second thing then, once you have activated your parasympathetic nervous system, is to ask yourself the question, where do I have control and where do I need to let go of control? Because especially when we are experiencing external changes, so changes where we feel like I haven't really decided on that, or I don't really have control over that, then we risk to spend a lot of time and energy being frustrated and angry or sad or any other feelings about that change, right? Oh, our leader is changing again. Our projects are changing again. COVID is lasting even longer than we thought it would be. When is this going to stop, right? We are always focusing on these different things that we don't really have control over. It would be so much healthier to pull that energy back to yourself and ask yourself the question, what can I actually control in this situation? And there's a really beautiful quote by Viktor Frankl that says, between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So this is really powerful, right? Because you have the power to decide how you want to react. And when you are creating that space, by, for example, practicing self-care, you will have a little bit of a better perspective on what to do next, because that will help you eventually with your personal growth and development. So if you are going through a difficult time at the moment, ask yourself the question, what can I actually do right now? And maybe the answer is the only thing I can do is to take care of myself and to make sure to keep my sympathetic nervous system in check, to not have raging stress hormones in my body all day long, okay? So that is really important. The third part about navigating change gracefully is to build a really powerful mindset. This is one of my favorite topics, and I just actually recorded a video about this as well. So make sure to check out my video on the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. But in these situations, when you're navigating changes, it is important to remind yourself to apply the growth mindset, to see challenges as an opportunity to grow, no matter what you're experiencing right now. That you need to handle these situations, because these situations will happen over and over and over again in your life. And you can't just feel like you are defeated. You need to keep on going. That is a really, really important message here. And it is also really important that you are making decisions, that you're moving on, that you're not staying in this state of, I don't really know what to do, this is all super overwhelming. Just make a decision and go with it. And you need to expect that sometimes decisions that you're making might be wrong, but at least it moves you into the next stage, and it moves you into understanding, okay, was this wrong or was this right? Was this good or was this not good? And then you can make a decision based on the information that you collected there. But it is more helpful to get into action and to get a little bit of a feeling of control and power again, to help you maybe overcome that hump of feeling those changes happening in your life, okay? And here's the thing. If you develop a powerful mindset, it will help you to build resilience, because every time you are experiencing a change, you understand, hey, okay, something is changing. Let me understand what's changing, and let me understand how I can use this information or this challenge or this failure as an opportunity to grow. Because resilience at the end of the day just explains how quickly we can bounce back from failure. So if you have a powerful mindset, you will also build that resilience muscle, okay? And that leaves me with the last thing that I want to share with you in today's video, which is you need to get into action. Because here's the thing, there's a lot of things that's going on up here, but if you don't get into action, nothing in your life will change. And I say this all the time in my videos, but it is the truth, because the biggest gap in life is between knowing and doing. We know a lot of things, we might be aware of certain things, but it sometimes might feel really, really dangerous to get into action. It might feel uncomfortable to get into action, but once the ball is starting to roll, it is unstoppable. But if you don't start to roll it, nothing is going to really happen. So it is in your control. You have the power over your life and how you want to respond to certain things that are happening and that are changing, okay? So get into action. If you have identified a couple of different areas that you can control in your life or in that specific situation, then focus on that. How much more powerful is it to think, oh, I can actually do something there, instead of just kind of sitting around and waiting and seeing and thinking and going crazy and creating that anxiety or any other kind of stress-related sicknesses. It's not really helpful to just sit around. There needs to be a balance, just as anything in life, but usually we sit around too much, we think too much, but we don't get into action. So today, here in this video, it is my invitation to you to get into action. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope that now you understand a little bit better why it is so hard to change. But I know that you can do it. You just need to believe in yourself, and you need to tell yourself constantly that you have the power to choose what you want in your life. So thank you so much for watching this video today. If you have any questions for me, leave me a comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next video.